Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for being with me. Today, we are in Psalm 123. So while you're opening your Bible there, just want to remind everyone that coming really soon, Sunday, August 18, is our focus on blended families at First Baptist Church. Rondell will be speaking in our services that morning about what do you do when you have a less than perfect family, which includes me, everybody. And then from 3:30 to 6:30 that afternoon, a free workshop where he's going to help those who part of blended families with some very practical stuff, and you don't want to miss it. Please go to the website and register right now. It's free, but do sign up, and you plan to be there on Sunday, August 18. Well, Psalm 123 is another brief psalm. It's got a title at the top that says A Song of Ascents. It's another one of these prayers, if you will, that they would either pray or sing as they were making their way through the city, up the hill to the temple, to the place of worship. And this one is a prayer or a cry for God's help, for God's favor. Because apparently these were some people who were disadvantaged. And there were some very proud people, some successful people, because he talks about them being at ease, at peace, at ease, meaning they didn't have needs. They were doing well. And they looked down on those who had problems. They looked down on those who didn't have as much. And so here are these worshipers, maybe poor, maybe having problems in life, making their way to the temple and saying, God, would you help us because we've got all these people always putting us down. And there's a couple of lessons from Psalm 123 that I want to share with you that speaks to my heart. One is prayer. Powerful prayers don't have to be long prayers. Now listen to that. Powerful prayers do not have to be long prayers. They don't have to be fancy prayers. This is a brief prayer, 4 verses. He doesn't beat around the bush. He's really clear. He's succinct, and it is so heartfelt. There's a lesson there for all of us when it comes to praying. The second thing is that having a powerful prayer life keeps our focus on the Lord more than on our problems or circumstances. And I think all of us as human beings, Christians included, are tempted to focus more on the problem than the problem solver, more on the circumstances than the Creator. And so he begins in verse 1 by saying, to you I lift up my eyes. Oh, you who are enthroned in the heavens. God, I'm looking up. I'm looking to you. I'm not looking around at all that's going on in the world. I'm not looking around at all that's happening. He was aware of his problems. He talks about it in this psalm. Look at verse 4. I mean, he knows that he's been scoffed at and people look at him with contempt. He knows that. But he says, I choose, Lord, to put my focus on you. You don't make things better by churning over all the bad stuff. All you do is let those things eat you alive. And so he chooses to look up to the heavens and to the Lord and put his focus there. And he uses 2 examples from their world to illustrate how he was intentional at keeping his attention on the Lord. In verse 2, he said, behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master. What's he talking about there? Well, imagine a wealthy person, a prince, a king, prominent person, eating dinner, has their servants. They have their servants. They have their butler. They have their wait staff, and those wait staff are positioned there, always looking, always just wandering around looking at everybody. They're sitting there looking at their master, looking at his plate, looking at his glass, his cup, looking at his hand, so that when he needs something, they notice it immediately. They're focused. It's like a good a waiter or waitress today notices when your glass is empty of tea or soft drink at your table in the restaurant. And you like those who notice, don't you? He says, God, I'm going to be like that with you. Keep my eyes on you, fixed on you. Notice, God, I'm looking up. And then in verse 2, he says, as the eyes of a maid to the hand of her mistress. What's he talking about there? Well, it wasn't unusual for queens or princesses to have maids, to have maid servants, to have staff who waited on them. It's like in that British series about Queen Elizabeth's life, people helping them dress and undress, waiting on their every need, bringing their mail to them, watching. The maids, the handmaids were always paying attention to what the queen or what the princess needed. And so he says, using those two examples from his culture, from his world, in verse 2, he says, so, in the same way, our eyes look to the Lord our God until he is gracious to us. The reason some people never receive the great blessings of God is they keep taking their eyes off God. He says, our eyes are going to look to the Lord and never be moved until his grace floods our lives. When you take your eyes off God, you remove yourself from the place of God's favor. And so, keep looking to God. Just like yesterday in Psalm 122, I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Here he's saying, God, I look toward you and I don't look away, no matter what other people are doing to me or saying about me. My eyes are fixed on you, Lord. And that is wonderful advice for me and you. Well, God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow as we look at Psalm 124. Have a great day, everybody.